The room is quiet. A fire burns low. Somewhere in London, a man is about to look at a stranger and know everything about him. His name is Sherlock Holmes, and for over 100 years, the world has called what he does deduction. But here is what almost no one tells you. What Sherlock Holmes does has almost nothing to do with deduction, and understanding why will change the way you think forever. Welcome to Deductive Minds. This channel exists for one reason: to teach you how to think more clearly, observe more precisely, and reason more powerfully. Not as a trick, as a discipline. Today, we begin at the foundation. There are three fundamental types of reasoning. Most people are vaguely aware of one. They confuse the other two, or have never heard of the third at all. By the end of this episode, you will understand all three, and you will never look at reasoning the same way again. The first, and most famous, is deduction. Deduction is the purest form of logical reasoning. It begins with rules you already know to be true, and derives conclusions that must follow. No uncertainty, no guesswork. If the premises are true, the conclusion cannot be false. The classic example: all men are mortal. Socrates is a man. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. This is not a guess. This is not a probability. Given the premises, the conclusion is inevitable. Deduction gives you certainty, but, and this is the part most people miss, deduction gives you nothing new. You are only unpacking what was already hidden inside your premises. It is the language of mathematics, of formal logic, unbreakable, elegant, but not how detectives think. The second type of reasoning is induction. Induction moves in the opposite direction. Instead of starting from universal rules, you start from observations, many repeated observations, and build toward a general conclusion. You see 1,000 white swans. You conclude all swans are white. This feels reasonable. Science itself builds much of its knowledge this way, but induction is never certain, because in 1697, Dutch explorers arrived in Australia and found black swans. One observation. Centuries of certainty dissolved. Induction gives you patterns. It gives you probability. But it is always, always vulnerable to the next piece of evidence. And then there is the third, the one almost no one talks about: abduction. The word was coined by the American philosopher Charles Sanders Peirce in the late 19th century. Less famous than deduction, far less taught than induction, and yet it may be the most powerful reasoning tool the human mind possesses. Abduction begins not with a rule and not with a pattern, but with a surprise. Something unexpected, something that doesn't fit, an anomaly. And it asks one question: what is the best explanation for what I am seeing? You walk outside in the morning. The ground is wet. You conclude it probably rained last night. You did not see the rain. You have no rule that guarantees the conclusion. You simply found the most plausible explanation for the evidence in front of you. That is abduction. The reasoning of the doctor who looks at symptoms and names a disease. The reasoning of the scientist who sees an anomaly and proposes a new theory to explain it. The reasoning of the detective who looks at the mud on your boots and knows exactly where you have been. This is abduction, and this is exactly what Sherlock Holmes does. When Holmes looks at Dr. Watson for the very first time and says, You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. He is not following a guaranteed logical chain. He is observing a military posture, a deep tan ending precisely at the collar, an arm held stiff from an old wound, the particular wear pattern on a soldier's boots. And from those fragments, those anomalies, he builds the most plausible explanation. Afghanistan, recently returned, military doctor. He calls it deduction. Pierce would call it abduction. The difference is not merely academic. It changes everything. Because abduction, unlike deduction, admits something Holmes never likes to admit: the possibility of being wrong. The great detective is not extraordinary because he reasons with certainty. He is extraordinary because he uses abduction with surgical precision. He observes more than anyone else. He notices what doesn't fit. He generates better hypotheses, faster and with less wasted motion. That is a skill, and every skill can be learned. Let us fix these three in your mind. Deduction, from universal rules to certain conclusions. The logic of mathematics. Induction, from many observations to probable patterns. The logic of science. Abduction, from a single anomaly to the best explanation. The logic of the detective, the doctor, the genius. Three tools, one sharp mind. This is what Deductive Minds is about. Not magic, not the genius you were born with, or weren't. The precise, learnable craft of observation, hypothesis, and reasoning under uncertainty. In the episodes ahead, we go deeper. How the brain forms hypotheses, and how neuroscience explains what Holmes's mind does differently. Real cases, real methods, step by step. If that is the kind of mind you want to build, you already know what to do. The game, as they say, is afoot. Deductive minds. Reason sharply. Observe precisely. Think deeply.